Long weapons boxes measure from 69 inches to 170 inches in length. Containers of these lengths can have a great amount of flex if carried unsupported, so in order to avoid introducing stress to the objects during moving, the boxes were designed to be slid onto and off of shelves and lifts. This made normal fabrication by scoring and folding inappropriate, as that method often has edges that can snag or catch on the bottom. Instead, a very systematic construction method was created that made it possible to construct large numbers of boxes with a hot-glued miter seam. These boxes have a smooth bottom surface with rounded edges and doesn't snag when sliding. Prepare the Coroplast sheet by trimming one long edge with a hand planer so that there is less than 1/8 inch surface overhanging before the first internal corrugation wall. Cut the Coroplast to the desired width using a table saw. Width will be the sum of the box width plus the depth of the two sides. The table saw should use a saw blade made for cutting soft plastics to provide the most precise and consistent cuts. Cut the Coroplast to length using a panel saw. The length will be the actual length of the finished box, as there will not be Coroplast sides on these ends. The panel saw allows for multiple sheets to be cut at one time and is easier for use for cutting across the corrugation than the table saw. Measuring in from each side the distance of the desired box depth, cut 2 channels down the length of the Coroplast using a trimmer. The trimmer is mounted on the bottom of a folding table with an adjustable fence and a hold-down device. These channels create the folds for the sides. The trimmer should be set up with a 1/2 inch bit so that it cuts one corrugation wall completely. This will create a big enough channel so the sides will fold up easily. Make the short end sides of the box out of 9-pound Ethafoam. The 9-pound foam is very hard and can be worked with just like wood. Unlike wood, it is lightweight, archival, and works well with hot melt glue. Starting with a plank 2 inches thick, first cut strips equal to the required depth of the sides of the box. Then split these strips in half through their width so they are 1 inch thick. Next, use a chop saw to cut the strips to the desired length, which will be the width of the box. These chop cuts are made slightly less than 90 degrees so that when assembled, the box sides will lean in slightly to give greater stability. Cut the Coroplast blank for the lid on the table saw exactly the length of the box and 1/2 inch wider than the box. Using several hot melt glue guns, 2 people quickly fill the routed channels on each side with hot glue. This holds the side of the box blank at the same angle as the sides of our end blocks. This step is where the consistency of the placement of the router channel in relation to the corrugation can make a big difference in ease of assembly. Once the glue is cooled, remove the box from the jig and glue the end blocks of foam in place. Then secure them using long wafer head screws through the edges and bottom of the box for extra strength. Dividing the box approximately into thirds, or roughly every 24 inches, drill holes 1 inch from the fold in the side and floor of the box, and insert plastic cable ties for added rigidity to the box overall. Make the lid by positioning the Coroplast blank over the box so that the sides overlap the edges by 1/4 inch at each side and the ends are flush. Affix small 1/2 inch thick blocks of 9-pound Ethafoam to the underside of the lid at each corner using hot melt glue. Then secure the foam using 2 short wafer screws through the top of the box. These foam blocks register the lid to the box and keep it in place. Trim the overhanging corners of the lid with a utility knife to remove the sharp point.